First tonight, a false active shooter alarm at Hook Elementary School in Troy this morning, but this isn't the first time this district has accidentally sounded the alarm. So Jenna Lee Borick live in Troy now after talking with the superintendent today. Jenna Lee?
Yeah, Adam, this alarm today was triggered by a staff member before school started. But in September, those two false active shooter alarms that were triggered close together were after students were already there. The superintendent telling me today that they changed how the alarm works after the first investigation.
After all of the safeguards and steps and testing that we did since the last time, we felt like we had that solution. Today we learned we were wrong.
Scary moments Monday at Hook Elementary School when what ended up being a false active shooter alarm went off. A staff member set it off accidentally.
Unfortunately, today there weren't many students in the building that hadn't arrived yet, but some staff members were there, and it is scary when that alarm goes off and you think that may be happening.
Just last September, a substitute teacher accidentally triggered the active shooter alarm twice less than 2 hours apart, prompting the district to send kids home for the day. Today, classes resumed as normal since most students weren't there when it happened. After an investigation, the system was changed to avoid these accidents. Superintendent Chris Piper saying previously hitting one key twice triggered it. Now it takes extra steps to make it go off.
So that's how the system works. 2 different keys, then a selection of yes and an enter or a mouse click. So we thought there were several steps that would help or minimize the chance of false alarms.
More questions and concerns coming up, though, after the school posted about it on Facebook. Some praising the district's communication, others wondering if the alarm will be taken seriously if the situation is ever the real thing. Piper tells us he's positive the right steps are taken, whether it's a real or false alarm.
Well, I can guarantee from staff reactions that every time this goes off, it is taken very seriously.
Piper tells me the first officer arrived in about 10 seconds. He says he doesn't picture the district moving forward with this current system because they can't afford to have these fake alarms, so they will look for a new system to use. Back to you.
Jenna Lee, thank you. And a judge has denied a motion to dismiss the case against Hermano Joseph. Now, he's the man charged in the deadly school bus crash that killed 11-year-old Aiden Clark. It happened in Springfield back in August on the first day of Northwestern local schools. Now, Hermano Joseph is 35 and is charged with vehicular homicide and involuntary manslaughter, both felony charges. Investigators say he drove left of center, crashing into the bus full of kids. Prosecutors say he was driving illegally because his driver's license was from Mexico, where he lived before moving to Ohio. His attorney argued in January that driving without a valid license is a misdemeanor, not a felony, and moved to dismiss the charges, which the judge has now denied. His next court date has not yet been set.
The University of Dayton's Public Safety Department investigating after 4 people they say displayed signs of an overdose on campus Friday. That happened in the Campus South apartments. 2 students and 2 non-students had signs of an overdose from an unknown substance. 3 of them treated at the hospital and released. 1 was treated at the scene. Now, the university is saying tonight in part, quote, "The health, well-being, and safety of our students is our priority." The university is making resources available to anyone affected by the incident.
And the man killed in a car crash last week has now been identified. 64-year-old Mark Pike died Friday on West Social Row Road in Centerville. Police say a Ford pickup had been driving east on that road, then crossed over the raised median and collided head-on with a Ford sedan. Pike died at the scene. The driver of the other vehicle was taken to the hospital. Police are still investigating.
We now know the name of the man killed in a shooting last week. 30-year-old Darnell Pate died after being shot in his car outside of Napoleon's Bar in Jefferson Township. Police say they're still investigating what led up to it. They're also still looking for a suspect. So if you have any information, you can contact the Montgomery County Regional Dispatch Center. That number 937-225-4357.
Springfield police are asking for your help to find this man, 28-year-old Justin Smith. He was last seen in the 400 block of Linden Avenue last Monday. Now, a relative who reported him missing said Smith left for his job delivering food and hasn't been seen since. He's a white man, about 5'9" and 120 pounds. He's brown hair and hazel eyes. He was last seen wearing a black jacket, blue jeans and black shoes. If you see him, you're asked to call Springfield Police, which is there on your screen, or call your local police department.
Fairborn City Schools saying a small leak on a rooftop HVAC unit was discovered on the east side of Baker Middle School this morning. Now, the fire department was called, checked all levels of the building, ventilated it before determining it was safe for students to go back to class. There were no injuries out of this or illnesses reported.
Tonight, the search for the next DPS superintendent continues, and it's been a big day for the area's largest school district as the 3 finalists interviewed with both students and parents. Lydia Bice spoke to the president of the Board of Education and shared how the process is going.
DPS Board of Education President Will Smith told me that he's proud of how this process is going because it's not just board members that get to choose, but community members get a say. Now, our viewers at home may remember the 3 finalists for DPS Superintendent are current interim superintendent Dr. David Lawrence, Dr. Alicia Smith, who is the chief of schools for Cincinnati Public Schools, and then H. Allen Smith II, who was recently a superintendent in San Antonio, Texas. Now, the 3 finalists were in the hot seat earlier today as students got to ask some of their own questions.
When you were a kid, what do you wish a superintendent would have done for your school?
I think when I was a kid, I wish the superintendent would have been more visible at the school, that they would have spent more time, that I would have gotten to know them.
Now, tonight at 6:30 here in the building right next to me, DPS parents got to ask some questions of their own as well.
Please give examples of how you have managed and balanced wide-ranging student needs in your previous roles, improved literacy and graduation rates for all students.
If I'm named the superintendent, we're going to have an intense focus on writing. We know that with writing, you can change the course of literacy and actually all other subject content matter areas. Writing really is the key and will be there.
Now, Will Smith, board president, told me that as of right now, there is no set date on when that superintendent decision will be made. Back to you.
The Ohio Department of Health warning of a possible measles exposure at CVG. Now, the agency says it's possible people traveling through the airport in Terminal A may have been exposed back on January 27th and 29th. That exposure comes after a measles case was confirmed in Montgomery County Saturday, the first in 19 years. It was spotted at Dayton Children's Hospital, so if you were there last Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, you should call Public Health, determine your level of exposure and the next steps. Now, the number right there on your screen there, public health experts say the best way to stay protected always is get vaccinated.
The measles vaccine is very, very effective. People who have had 1 dose of vaccine are 93% protected against infection, and people who have had a 2nd dose are 97% protected against infection.
Now, measles is extremely contagious, can spread through coughing, sneezing. The virus can stay in the air for up to 2 hours, and unvaccinated people are at high risk.
Well, now we want to switch things over to weather, and it actually hasn't been, I guess, not really too shabby out there the past couple days.
Yeah, pretty nice today. Good amount of sunshine. Now our northern counties didn't get as much of that today. But heading into tomorrow, we still have sun in the forecast, but keep in mind, we got some clouds that are going to start us off in the morning. So they'll clear out eventually. It may take a while, but we are expecting some sunshine by the second half of the day. We got 30s across the area, 32 in Dayton, 31 Troy, 32 in Sydney right now, with some clouds building in from the northeast with this northeasterly flow coming off of, there you can see this area of high pressure and that clockwise flow. So what we're going to be seeing overnight are those clouds kind of hanging out with us as we head overnight, but it does look like we should see them clear out by the second half of the day, with high temperatures back up into the upper 40s, so that will be above normal again for this time of the year. Have a look at the rest of the week coming up.
Well, there is a new fire chief at the Dayton Fire Department. Director-in-Chief Mike Rice was sworn in this morning.
I would also like to thank all the active and retired members of the Dayton Fire Department, as the work of these amazing men and women is what makes this department one of the best departments in the country.
Everyone knows who takes care of this city. And you make us look good and all the challenges that you have on a daily basis. So I really want to make sure you understand just how important you are to us.
Now, Captain Brad French was promoted to Assistant Chief, and Captain Tyler McCoy was promoted to District Chief.
Dayton Public Schools holding a winter clothing collection drive to help students in need. They're asking for new and unworn scarves, hats, gloves, and coats of all sizes. You can drop off your donation at any of the locations. This drive is going on through next Friday, February 16th. We have all this information and those addresses on our website, Dayton247now.com. Just find this story in the local section.
Testimony in the murder trial of a former Ohio deputy continuing. After the break, a look at body camera footage from the day of that shooting.
And the likelihood of a border bill passing in the House is decreasing, and it doesn't seem promising in the Senate either. What senators are saying about that bill as voting day approaches.
Plus, tracking some more sunshine as well as milder weather for the rest of the week. That's coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Week 2 of testimony beginning in the murder trial of former Franklin County Deputy Jason Meade. And tonight, we're seeing the body camera video as other officers arrived to that scene that day after Meade shot and killed Casey Goodson in 2020. Now, there's no body camera footage of the actual shooting. We're also hearing from a forensics expert who examined the weapon used in that shooting. Steve Levine has an update.
Bullet fragments found in Goodson's body could be linked to the rifle.
The coroner's label on this one says projectile from chest, and this one was examined and compared and identified as having been fired from the Daniel defense rifle.
Worley testified not all fragments tested could be connected to the rifle because of the fragment's shape or rifle characteristics.
need medics to come up, right?
Jurors for the first time watching police body camera video of the shooting scene shortly after Casey Goodson Jr. was shot and killed. At one point, the video records Jason Meade on the porch telling other officers he saw Goodson with a gun.
He came out the street, gun in his hand, going to the side door, going in with a gun. You guys were pulling out? Yes, as I was pulling up.
Meade says he shot Goodson when Goodson pointed a gun at him after Meade ordered Goodson twice to drop the weapon, but Goodson failed to do so. Family members say Goodson was not holding a gun, but carrying a bag of sub sandwiches in one hand and keys in the other. And Goodson, family says, could not hear Meade because he was wearing earbuds.
Well, some clouds around overnight. They'll be with us early tomorrow as well, but eventually they'll make way for some sunshine by tomorrow afternoon. High pressure still keeping things fairly calm pretty much all week long. We have a quiet forecast, but we will see clouds streaming through in and out during the week. Cloudy tomorrow afternoon, upper 40s, close to 50 degrees. Now heading into our Wednesday, we start out cold again. A few more clouds Wednesday, but notice our high temperatures back up into the lower 50s. And then Thursday, again, still some clouds, mostly cloudy, so not completely overcast. But we do start to see our highs mid, even some upper 50s by our Thursday afternoon. I'll let you know how long that milder weather will stick around coming up here in just a bit.
Chances for a border bill passing in the House are getting slimmer, and it doesn't look like it'll pass the Senate either. Now, one of the chief negotiators of that bill, Senator James Lankford, predicted the bill would get 70+ votes, but that looks unlikely with multiple Republicans expected to oppose it. Democratic leaders in Lankford are making a case for the bill's passage.
I am proud Leader McConnell and I, who disagree on many issues, have never worked so closely together on legislation as we did on this.
And you're saying if this was in place now, the border would be shut down?
That's correct. The border would be shut down. Not only did the border be shut down today, it had been shut down every single day the last 4 months.
Lankford says we would have had 1 million fewer illegal migrants if the provisions in the bill were law to begin with. On the other side of the Capitol, House Speaker Mike Johnson says the bill is, quote, dead on arrival. So that leads us to today's question of the day. We want to know, who do you think would do a better job handling the economy, the border crisis, and foreign policy? Share your opinion by voting on this poll at Dayton247now.com. Just click on the question of the day heading in the news tab. We do have results from yesterday's question. We asked what factor has contributed most to the fentanyl crisis. 58% of you said President Biden's policies, 12% said cartels and decriminalization, 9% said the pharmaceutical industry, 8% said China.
The House will vote on its impeachment resolution against Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas tomorrow. Now, we're not sure what time that'll happen yet. Republicans argue Mayorkas has committed high crimes and misdemeanors for his handling of the southern border. The Biden administration, though, argues Congress is abusing its authority to target a cabinet official for political reasons.
And the Supreme Court will hear arguments this Thursday for the first time over the 14th Amendment. It is a post-Civil War measure that bans anyone who engaged in insurrection or rebellion from holding office. Those two sentences could overturn former President Donald Trump's chances for re-election. This case will decide whether Trump can remain on the ballot in Colorado after the state Supreme Court ruled he violated the 14th Amendment by inciting the riot at the nation's capital.
Tonight we're learning King Charles III has cancer. Buckingham Palace says it was found during surgery to correct an enlarged prostate. Now, the nature of his cancer and treatment has not been revealed. Charles will take a step back from his public duties while he receives treatment. The 75-year-old Brit ascended to the throne in September of 2022 after the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. President Biden sending prayers to the king on X today after news of his cancer diagnosis, saying, quote, navigating a cancer diagnosis, treatment, and survivorship takes hope and absolute courage. Jill and I join the people of the United Kingdom in praying that His Majesty experiences a swift and full recovery.
A live look now from our Eco Plumber Skycam. Let's send things out to Chief Meteorologist Natalie Walters.
Well, it's still a cold one out here in our Watson's weather patio. It's a pretty nice day for most of us, at least. Many of us getting into the mid-40s for the afternoon, but we warm up even more for the rest of the week. So we start out with cloud cover tomorrow, but we make it up into the upper 40s. And then check out Thursday, Friday, back up upper 50s. That's going to be almost 20 degrees above normal for this time of the year. staying fairly mild as we head into this weekend, but we'll also get cloud cover as well as some rain chances to return as well. But as far as the longer term goes, it is February. We got to keep that in mind. Longer term forecast is looking a little cooler. Here's our temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center, 8 to 14 days out, so more than a week out, indicating likely some below normal temperatures, at least for the southeastern half of the U.S., including right here in the Miami Valley. A cooler weather pattern will return.
The future of Trotwood's new communication strategy left up to the community, what they want changed.
And the 4th annual Epic Pet Give-a-thon happening this Thursday. After the break, how you can help pets across the Miami Valley find a safe and loving home.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
The city of Trotwood's new communications strategy is starting to take shape. The city inviting all residents and businesses to learn how Trotwood will improve communication and relationships in this months-long process to overhaul their strategy.
There's been some really fantastic dialogue over the period of the last 4 to 6 months as we've been developing the strategy. We've had literally hundreds of people weigh in on this and contribute their thoughts and ideas. People really want to know what's going on and they want to figure out where they can have input.
A couple things have already stuck out to him in the process. Local Trotwood residents want to tell the story of their city, and they also want to talk about improving Trotwood's reputation and its potential for the future. You can see all the progress on the communication strategy and read the community's responses at trotwoodspeaks.com.
Well, we are once again very proud to team up with the Humane Society of Greater Dayton to find forever homes for animals across the Miami Valley. So join us, please, this Thursday, February 8th, for the 4th annual Epic Pet Give-a-thon. We'll be live at the Humane Society all day with special giveaways, success stories, and showing off some of the great animals you can adopt. You can show your support and donate right now if you'd like. Scan the QR code on your screen there, or you can always text EPIC24 to 76278.
New evidence showing the effects of social media on young people's brain development, what a neurosurgeon says it could be doing to the parts of the brain, and what state attorneys general are doing about it.
Also, the son of civil rights icon Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his wife in the tri-state today. Special announcement as they visit Great American Ballpark.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.